Welcome to Chance of Restoration. On this platform, God promises to restore people through their royal destinies. Your testimony is next in line. I am Obed Ofili. I want to begin a new series on the nature of the kingdom of God. The nature of the kingdom of God. God's kingdom is as vast as God himself. So it is not possible for anyone to exhaust in a teaching the nature of the kingdom of God. So within this series, I will present 6 features or character of the kingdom. Today, I want to begin with the spiritual nature of the kingdom of God. Now, there cannot be a kingdom without a realm. There has to be a realm over which a king exercises his authority or his sovereignty. Is there a spiritual world? Is there a spiritual realm? Some people don't believe in the existence of a spiritual world. Let's look. Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. It is called the beginning of beginnings. I read from New International Version. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. This statement, Genesis 1:1, introduces us to 2 powerful things. One is the presence of a God, a being called God. The English dictionary says God is a deity, an object of worship. But the Hebrew word translated God describes him fully well. The word is called Elohim. Elohim means the self-existent and eternal one. That God is self-existent connotes 2 things. One, it means that God has no beginning. He has no creator. He has no father. Who is God's father? Who gave birth to him? We can't trace his ancestral line. He has no creator. He is instead the creator of all. He is the creator. So we are introduced to God, Elohim, the self-existent one, the one who has no creator. Instead, he is the creator himself. He is the creator. And that God is self-existent also means he does not depend on anyone for support. He doesn't depend on anything to survive. Has God ever been hungry and came to you to ask for food? Psalm 52 says, if I were hungry, I would not tell you, for the world is mine and all that is in it. That was God talking. I say, was there a time when he was financially broke and came to you to beg for money? No. Haggai 2:8. God says, the silver is mine and the gold is mine, declares the Lord Almighty. Now in Romans 11:34, Paul, quoting prophet Isaiah, asks, who has known the mind of the Lord, or who has been his counselor? Who has known the mind of the Lord, or who has been his counselor? Has there ever been a time when he came to you to ask for advice? No. He is the self-existent God. But we are called to focus on this God as the creator. He is the creator. The word translated create, bara, means to bring out something from non-existing things. So even though there are gods, as there was at that time, he is the only one who can cause something to come out from non-existing materials. Glory be to God. Glory. The second thing we are introduced to is the creation. The creation. The creator created the heavens and the earth. The text says in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Some people don't believe that the earth has a creator. They believe that the earth is the product or a product of an accident. They define scientifically as the Big Bang. Here we find that the earth has a creator. The earth is too sophisticated not to have a creator. It was created by God, by Elohim. But my focus is not on the physical world. We are told that Elohim created the heavens, which is a spiritual realm, a spiritual world. I need to mention that there are several ways kings gain kingship. Kingship can be gained through subterfuge, through conquest, through marriage, in recent time through appointment, okay? But God's right to rule came from what is called the right of creation. God rules because he's the creator. And another thing you need to know is that the creation of the invincible world marked the beginning of the reign of God. There has to be a realm over which a king ruled before there can be a kingdom. So God, Psalm 115 verse 16, it says, the highest heavens belong to the Lord, but the earth he has given to mankind. The highest heavens, heavens plural indicates that there are layers in the spiritual world. Some people believe that we have 7 heavens, others says 3. What I want us to focus on is that God lives in the highest heavens, in the highest heavens. Now, Jesus in Matthew 5:34, Jesus says that heaven is the throne of God. The Greek word translated throne, thronos, means an elevated seat. An elevated seat from where kings rule. It means that God rules from heaven. God gave man earth to do what? To rule over as his vice regent. Man was created to rule the plain earth, the realm earth, the physical world on behalf of the creator. But he lost this rulership after the fall. That was when the rule or control of the world entered into the hand of the devil. That's when we begin to have what is called the kingdom of darkness. Luke 17:20-21. Once on being asked by the Pharisees when the kingdom of God will come, Jesus replied, the kingdom of God is not something that can be observed. The coming of the kingdom of God is not something that can be observed, nor will people say, here it is or there it is, because the kingdom of God is in your midst. I believe that the Pharisees were trying to implicate Jesus. They were trying to implicate him because at that time, the Roman Empire was ruling over the Jews, the Roman Empire. So for you to declare a kingdom means you are rebelling against the existing authority. And that is death sentence. The Roman Empire will kill you, will execute you. So now they are asking Jesus, you are claiming to be the Messiah. When is the kingdom coming? Okay? When is the kingdom coming? Jesus said the kingdom is not observable. It is not something that can be seen with the physical eyes. It cannot be seen, but it is in your midst. The kingdom was in their midst in the person of Jesus the Christ. A king, I have said in my previous message, is an embodiment of his kingdom. Wherever he goes, his kingdom goes there. The presence of Jesus marked the presence of the kingdom on earth. So Jesus was saying the king is here. The king is here. The kingdom of God is in your midst. Glory be to God. Now from the passage I read in Luke, Jesus' response that the kingdom of God is not observable connotes that the kingdom is a spiritual kingdom. Now later, when the Pharisees and the Jewish leaders could not implicate him, they just decided to lay false accusation against him. Now let's see Jesus' statement again in John 18:36. I read, my kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my servants would fight to prevent my arrest by the Jewish leaders. But now my kingdom is from another place. Now they have arrested him and they brought him before the governor, before Pilate, and said he claimed to be a king. Now what was his response? My kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my disciples will fight against the Jews. They won't let them to arrest me. But now my kingdom is not of this world. Jesus was telling Pilate, you don't need to be threatened. The kingdom that I came to establish is not a physical kingdom. It does not pose any threat to the Roman Empire. It is a spiritual kingdom. It is a spiritual kingdom that has its origin in God. In one of the parables, we can also derive the spiritual nature of the kingdom of God. I want to read Matthew 13:33 from the New Living Translation. I read, Jesus also used this illustration. The kingdom of heaven is like the yeast a woman used in making bread. Even though she put only a little yeast in 3 measures of flour, it permeated every part of the dough. This parable, the parable of the yeast, is similar to the parable of the mustard seed. Jesus used it to teach the gradual growth nature of the kingdom. The kingdom grows gradually from a little seed and grows to become a very, very mighty tree, according to the parable of the mustard seed. Jesus was teaching about the growth nature of the kingdom is gradual. But one lesson to be learned is this: if you put a yeast in a flour and mix it, you won't see the yeast, but you know it's there. One will know that there is a yeast in the flour. Why? Because it will cause the dough to rise. Today, we can say the kingdom is spiritual, but we know it's here because lives are being transformed. Lives are being changed. We have seen from Genesis that there is a spiritual world, a spiritual realm ruled by God the Creator. And we have also seen from the text that we read that God's kingdom is spiritual. We can't see it, but we know it is a present reality because of its transformative power. Lives are being changed, people are being delivered. You have not given your life to Jesus, I encourage you to do so. Your life can be changed no matter how bad it may seem.